everyone, welcome to another episode of Latte on Cloud Costs, and this is a special episode, especially from reInvent. And with me today, I've got my longtime friend and a FinOps veteran, and also a reInvent veteran, 9 years at reInvent. Hello, Lee.
Hey, good to see you.
Yeah, finally we are doing this podcast. I think me and Lee have been trying to find dates for like a couple of months now.
For sure.
And finally we found a date. Lee, how's 9th year at reInvent?
As good as the first one. But as you can hear from my voice, I've been soaking it all in.
It's a lot of beer and drinks, I suppose. Yeah.
And lemon and honey.
And coffees. Yeah, it's all about coffees. Well, great. So, what's new at this reInvent?
Wow. I don't know if any of you have heard of this thing called AI, but that's spread around quite a lot. There's a lot of stuff going on around agents, around AI. So very, very interesting.
Nice.
I think it's also been quite telling to see who's here and who's not here.
Yeah.
You know, like there's a lot of traditionally big cloud optimization players that aren't here, which I think is also interesting. Very, interesting to walk the floor and see lots of new vendors that I haven't seen before as well.
Same for me. And since you talked about AI, I've got a $1 billion question.
Sure.
AI for FinOps, FinOps for AI. What do you see? What's happening in FinOps space with AI?
So the way that I see it is actually a little bit cyclical. So we've gone through this phase where people are spending money on cloud. They were drunk spending on cloud. Finally, they kind of try and get some visibility into it. And then they try and put some curbing on those type of things. I think we're seeing the same type of things in AI, but we're really at the early stages of it because a lot of companies have still been experimenting. Finally, they're reaching production.
Yeah.
And now the costs are going astronomical and they're kind of like, okay, now what do we do? So I think in a similar cyclical way, it's like we're focusing on growth. We have to get products out there. We'll do whatever we can. Oh, wow, we're spending all this money on it. Now what do we do? So I think that's kind of like been quite an interesting motion to see.
So what I'm hearing from you is, if earlier cloud cost optimization was cyclical, like once in a quarter, like that's how most of people think, right? Like I believe it should be every day, but that's how most of people think. You think this journey from once a quarter would shift to once a month because the cost is going?
It's going to have to. I mean, some companies are genuinely just drunk spending on AI.
Yeah.
And once they actually realize what it's costing them, what inference is costing them, tokens, they're not there yet. This whole, also, it took a number of years for us to really talk about unit economics in FinOps.
Yeah.
And the unit economics of AI is different. And so people are actually starting to try and understand those numbers.
Yeah.
Maybe. Some people are already there. Some people aren't even there yet, but they'll get there once they realize how much things are costing them.
Yeah. So I'm hearing, again, we're still staying on FinOps and AI. I'm hearing this loss of cost per token, cost per inference, and those all as a unit economics. Do you think that will hold true, or do you think it would be like cost per outcome and other things? How will it move, right? Because it's very simple. We started with like, hey, what's my CPU cost? And then you realize, no, we are actually doing authentication. So what's our authentication cost? And that's how we should measure.
Well,
so how do you think it will happen for AI?
I think, as you mentioned, it's going to get broken down, I think, into more like cost per customer in terms of this, cost per query in terms of these type of things, like really breaking it down, maybe even cost per service in relation to AI. I think that we're going to go in that region.
Yeah.
But again, I do believe that in the same way that observability and visibility has been iterations over time, I think that we'll see that in AI as well, and FinOps for AI and AI for FinOps.
That's great. AWS did database savings plan yesterday.
Yep.
Big release, right? After 5, 6, I think we all have been shouting on top of our voice, we need database savings plan. They have done it. How do you think the utilization or adoption would be?
I think it's something that people really have been waiting for, whether it's your Corey Quinns or whoever else that have been shouting for it. And I think that the way that we've seen people taking up savings plans, like over our eyes, I would imagine that this will be very vastly taken up. Again, because it's more simple to put a blanket brush over it and say, we're covered.
Yeah.
Whether I believe that or not, that's a different story. But I do think that they'll get the uptake that they look for on that.
Great. Coming back to OpenOps and our open source, right? I think when I first heard about open source, you talked to me about like open source FinOps and everything. What's happening in open source FinOps as a space, right? Is that space actually thriving? There's still so much, like, what stage is it in?
Yeah, I think it's still in a maturity stage.
Okay.
We've seen as we're growing, is that a lot of the larger organizations have started to build open source policies. It's something that they're interested in. I think that also because of vendor fatigue over the last 10 years, there's this now motion of before it was buy, now it might be more build, or maybe there's build and blend. And so having this open source platform where you can almost like build your own on top of what you've bought or is really like taking extra maturity, but it is still just maturing.
Yeah. I'm hearing a similar thought from Christian as well, right? With a lot of work he does, right, in open sourcing. Right. And he has been telling like, hey, it's somehow hitting the maturity curve. So what do you think? Like, what does the future look like in 1-2 years? Is it like all in one FinOps platform? Or is it still going to be like good individual solutions, all cobbled up together?
I mean, it's a good point that you mentioned about Christian, right? Because again, his approach is very modular.
Yeah.
I think that's arguably a mature way to look at these things. Like to understand what you can do, how you can piece these things together to create the more rounded offering.
Yeah.
So I do see that that's the direction it we're going. I do still also think that with the AI for FinOps or FinOps for AI, we've seen over time that surprise players come in and dominate particular spaces. Yeah. And by that, I mean like think of someone like Wiz, for example, who came out of nowhere to completely dominate that security aspect.
Yeah.
I think we might see somebody come in the AI space. Same type of thing. Whether it's, I don't know, just for argument's sake, if NVIDIA come out with like a crazy FinOps product, for example.
Yeah, why not? Like what they're doing chips.
I'm just using it as an example, but that type of out of left field, because they have so much power in the space that they'll come in and try and offer something in this area.
Got it. Makes sense. So what's the biggest trend you are seeing in 2026 we all have to do as FinOps practitioners?
I think we have to be aware of the consolidation in the market.
Okay.
I think that's still going to come.
I think another wave is just waiting for us on consolidation front.
Right. Yeah. And I think I have constantly said to people recently, if you're working with AI, you want to check back on things every 3 months. Because even if you're doing something and you think, oh, this is good for us, or this is fit for purpose, or this isn't fit for purpose, things are changing so quickly that you have to keep coming back, try something new, try and understand if it's now suitable for your purpose. When we first tried, I like to use the Will Smith pasta analogy.
Yeah.
When we saw that video 2 years ago, it was horrendous. Now it's scarily good. And if you think of how quickly we've got there, and you think about where we're going, that's why I would say it's like constantly iterate, constantly check back, constantly keep in touch with the market, because things are moving so quickly that if you don't keep up on it, you're going to be yesterday's news.
Definitely. Totally agree. Now let's come to a fun part. What's the best booth this year?
Oh, wow. Great question. So I tell you what I was impressed with. Amnik.
Yeah.
Amnik have got a really cool game that they're playing on their booth, and they did it very well to link it with LinkedIn. And so also I think that's quite smart to get like good data from, the visitors. I'm trying to think what's the best bit of swag that I've got as well.
Yeah, the best swag.
I don't get swag usually because of my sustainability background. So I've appreciated a couple of things from the AWS booth actually as well. And Cloudability, I've got a really cool Labubu.
Okay.
Yeah, which, family and that kind of stuff. So those would be my best swag. So
what are the best party you have been?
What makes you think I've been to a party? This throat isn't from that.
Okay. I thought that was Law of Coffee. I was saying that's Law of Coffee. Yeah.
Maybe the best party's still yet to come.
Who knows?
Yeah, should we go later?
Yes. I think I have got something special tonight. Yeah, let's do that. But great, Lee. Thanks for coming on the show.
Absolute pleasure. I'm so glad that we finally get to do this.
Yes, we finally get to do that.
And what's been your favorite part?
I think like last year when I came at reInvent, the law of AI as a hype.
Mm-hmm.
This year, what I'm seeing is relative maturity in terms of how people are talking.
Yeah.
Right? People have moved away from that buzzword. Like I started doing AI back in 2017.
Right.
And at that point, we had to spend so much time with these large retailers in UK and everyone to really make them think about, hey, you need AI. And they would be like, no, it's all about BI, right? And now all of a sudden you see everything AI. And I'm very happy. Like my heart says I'm very happy, right? But at the same time, I feel that it's going to be very tricky for FinOps space because, compute, everyone needed it, right? That's when cloud came in. AI is something that came in the cusp was all of a sudden, right? And now how does that get adopted, right? Because a lot of people are doing POCs, they're burning a lot of money at this point of time, but what would be the actual output, right?
Do you think that people have got a grip on understanding the difference between AI, Gen AI, and agents?
Not yet. Right. I think people interchangeably use it. Yeah.
That's exactly it. There's this wavy line where people really don't get it.
I think there used to be a big debate with one of the data scientists at one of the companies I worked with, right? And whenever we tried to use AI in our messaging, he was always like very anti-against. Like, you guys don't understand AI. Like, don't put AI in your messaging just because it sounds cool. Right. It's probably we are just doing a statistical learning, a linear regression model, right? Or even some machine learning, right?
Right.
So figure out what the difference is. And I think right now people are using it interchangeably, generative AI, agents.
Do the same thing.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's part of the fun for us, though, in our industry, where you get to
exactly
educate and help them really become more efficient.
I think FinOps would turn into more education next year, right? And that's what I'm hoping for, yeah.
I'm looking forward to it growing.
Same here. Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah, good to see you.